Welcome to my second video about installing Arch Linux. In the last one, we complete installing Arch Linux by following the wiki guide. In this video, we will continue adding more stuff to the new OS. I spent an hour recording this capture. It includes a lot of stuff, identifying the issue and looking for the answers. I don't think you will need that much time if you do everything with a guideline. The video can break down into these works. You can look at the scene. You can look at the screen and understand what actually happened from sequence. I think a DHCP client would be a must if you need internet access. Creating a user and sudo group is not really required, but it's the security best practice. If you want to understand more about Linux, I think it should be one of those core components that you should install. Others are really recommended if you want your Arch Linux to do more stuff, especially anything that requires graphic interface. If you are looking for any particular solution, we suggest you to jump to there directly. It's not really a requirement unless you are installing a graphical interface. It would be good to follow the sequence in here. I will include the timestamp in the description. Alright, let's get started. First of all, let's try to reset the root password after the first installation. If you're like me, the first issue you will encounter is probably forgetting the root password after the installation. You can change it by rebooting the machine. It should be worth mentioning that the method applies to most of the Linux distribution as long as you are using grub. When you reach grub, go to advanced option, press E to edit boot options, and then find the line starting with Linux. Go to the end of the line and then add this command, add this text at the back of the sentence, and then you can go you can press, and then you can press Ctrl X to reboot. Now you will boot up as root without any password. We need to mount the drive before changing the password. When it's done, you can reboot, and then you can log in with the new password. When I reboot again and thought of enhancing my OS following the guideline on the internet, I noticed my VM is not connected to the network. It took me a few minutes to understand what really happened. These are the two issues that I'm having. The first is my Ethernet link is down by default. The second is I do not have a DHCP client which acts to retrieve an IP from the router. So after Googling a bit, I find the command to bring up the Ethernet port, which is you can see on the screen. If you are looking for your interface, it should be Ethernet 0. When it's ready, you can change the command to view and see if the interface is going up. The next problem is a little bit troublesome because there is no way to install a DHCP client without the internet. So I need to go back to the live boot with the ISO and then do the following. I need to mount it and then change the mount drive at it's my Linux machine, and then so that I can do the root administration over there. These commands are shown in the Arch Linux installation guide, so I won't spend too much time explaining them. And then we need to when we change then we need to install DHCP CD and then enable it. You can follow the command on the screen. When it's ready, exit, unmount, and then reboot, and then you should be able to connect to the internet. We can get into installing the display server or any other stuff right away. But first, let's set up a new user and a sudo group. We will create a new user by typing user add. Will is the administrator group. Will is the administrator group of Arch Linux. To use sudo group in Arch Linux, we need to install the sudo package. And then edit the sudo file. There are a few things you need to do. You need to uncomment the will guide and then add your user privilege under the root line, and then save and then exit nano. You can then try using su hyphen and then your user, and then you will change from root to your user, and then you can see if you can update your Linux by using the sudo and then pacman. If it works, then it means your sudo setup is complete. Okay, if this VM or machine is going to be your everyday machine, this is going to be the major component of the video. Installing a graphical interface for our Arch Linux. There are 3 components we need to do: display server, a desktop environment, and the display manager. I won't go into details of these 3. Basically, a display server is the base of making the GUI work. You can pick between the X11 or Wayland, which is not shown on the DigitalOcean guideline we are following. For the desktop environment and the display server, I will go for the lightweight switch, lightweight approach, as we are in the VirtualBox environment. If you are interested more about these 3 components, try Google a bit or read the link that I share in the description. The guideline should include everything you need to type in the terminal. If you finish the installation, don't forget to enable LXDM. If you enable this, next time when you reboot, you should go to the graphical interface login page. The remaining of this video is about adding more features or making more stable. Adding an AUR helper may not be required at this stage because it's a community contributed package manager. If you want to follow with the guideline, just try this command on the screen instead, as the DigitalOcean guideline meets some of the steps over there. Okay, installing kernel. This should be the final step of the guideline. Installing the LTS header, make it more stable. But again, you don't see anything or notice any differences after the installation. It will bring more stability rather than more fancy stuff or features to your system instead. Microcode is shown in the last step of the guideline, but again, because we are using a VM, we don't need to install a microcode for this machine. So we'll skip it and go directly to reboot and see what will happen. Okay, he's reached the final state of the video. When you reboot the system, you will notice it will put into a graphical login, but for somehow you are not able to log in with the GUI. If you want to do something like installing more package or try to explore your new OS, you can always press Control or turning F2 to go back to terminal and then log in. Okay, this should be the end of the video. In the next video, we will try fix the login issue and anything that comes up when we try to enhance the Arch Linux. I will see you in the next one.